Stop everything you're doing right now. In the next 5 seconds, I'm going to reveal why that woman who seemed so interested just vanished from your life as if you never existed. It's as if you were a file, deleted from her computer, with no chance of recovery. You know what I'm talking about. That void in your chest when she stops replying to your messages. That feeling of being invisible when just yesterday she was laughing at your jokes. It's the female high-speed filter in action, processing and discarding men with the coldness of an algorithm. Pay attention, because this is ultra rare. Most men will spend their entire lives being discarded without understanding the mechanism behind it. You are about to discover something that only a tiny fraction of men truly comprehend. And when you understand, you will never be the same. You know what's the worst part? While you're trying to figure out what you did wrong, she's already talking to another guy. Maybe 2, maybe 3. And she feels absolutely nothing about cutting you out of her life. Zero remorse. Zero guilt. It's as if those moments you shared were just a mirage in the desert. This destroys men inside. You start to question your value. You start to think that maybe you're not good enough. That maybe you need to completely change who you are. And then, you enter a downward spiral of insecurity that contaminates all your future relationships. Can you feel how this affects you? The problem is you're playing a game without knowing the rules. It's like stepping into a boxing ring blindfolded while your opponent can see perfectly. You take blow after blow and you don't even know where they're coming from. Now, listen to me. Over the last 12 years, analyzing behavioral patterns and relationship psychology, I've discovered something that few apply. A protocol that explains exactly how and why women discard men. And more importantly, how you can become immune to it. This isn't internet theory. It's a pure observation of reality. I'm going to show you the 5 deadly signals that indicate you are about to be discarded. Each one of them is like a silent alarm. If you ignore these signals, being discarded is practically guaranteed. 1. She stops asking questions about your life. Remember when she wanted to know about your day? About that project at work? When a woman stops showing genuine curiosity about you, the discarding process has already begun. It's the first step of emotional disengagement. Studies show that curiosity is the fuel of attraction. When she no longer wants to know the details of your life, it means you have already been demoted in her mental hierarchy. You went from protagonist to extra. From a priority to an option. And options are, by definition, disposable. Does that make sense so far? Let me tell you about something that happened to a guy the first no. He was dating a woman for 3 months. Everything seemed perfect, but he noticed that for the last 2 weeks, she had completely stopped asking about anything in his life. She only answered when he asked her something. 2 weeks later, she vanished. Blocked him from everything, Instagram, WhatsApp, even LinkedIn. As if 3 months of connection had never existed. This is the power of the female discard when the alarm of the first signal is ignored. 2. Her replies become shorter and more delayed. You send a paragraph. She replies with 1 word. You send a message in the morning. She replies at night, or the next day. It's what I call the slow death of communication. She is passively aggressively teaching you that you are no longer a priority. The timing of responses reveals priorities. Think about it. When you're really interested in someone, you reply quickly. You elaborate on your responses. You show enthusiasm. When she takes hours or days to reply with a simple, okay, or, lol, she is telling you without words that you are at the end of the line. Can you see this pattern? Here's the cruel detail. While she takes 3 hours to reply to you, she's conversing in real time with the guy who genuinely sparks her interest. You become the pastime for moments of boredom. The backup plan. She keeps you just in case. This hurts, I know. But you need to face this reality head on. Ignoring these signs will not make them disappear. On the contrary, it will only prolong your suffering and delay your evolution as a high-value man. 3. She cancels plans and doesn't suggest rescheduling. This one is one of the most obvious, but men still insist on not seeing it. When a woman is interested, she moves mountains to see you. Any breeze becomes a hurricane that prevents the meeting. If she has canceled 2 times in a row and hasn't actively suggested a new date, you have already been discarded. She just didn't have the courage to tell you directly. She's waiting for you to get the message and disappear on your own. Availability is proportional to interest. Remember this like a mantra. The person who wants to find a way, and the person who doesn't wants to find an excuse. And women are masters at creating elaborate excuses that seem legitimate but are just a smokescreen. Do you see the pattern forming? I'll be even more direct with you. If she says she's too busy, but you see her stories going out with friends, going to parties, doing a million things except seeing you, you are not a priority. You are what's left over. What's there when she has nothing better to do? Does this bother you? It should. Because only when you feel that discomfort can change begin. Only when you recognize your current position can you work to improve it. 4. She stops showing jealousy or possessiveness. Almost no one notices this one. When a woman is invested in you, she wants to know who you're with. She gets bothered when you mention other women. She asks subtle questions to investigate your intentions. Healthy jealousy is a sign of emotional investment. When she completely stops caring about who you see or don't see, the emotional bond has already been cut. She has mentally released you. Can you feel the difference? It's as if she has flipped an internal switch. Yesterday she wanted to know every detail of where you were. Today, you can disappear for 3 days and she won't even notice. This indifference is the prelude to the final discard. Go ahead and pay attention to this. 5. Sex becomes mechanical or disappears completely. The physical connection is the thermometer of the emotional connection. When a woman is disconnecting from you, the first place it shows up is in intimacy. Sex becomes an obligation or simply stops happening. She always has a headache now, she's always tired, there's always something more important. And when it does happen, it's quick, without passion, as if she were completing a boring task on her to-do list. This is her body biologically rejecting you. Studies show that female physical attraction is directly linked to admiration and respect. When she stops admiring you, her body literally closes off to you. It's a primitive selection mechanism that has existed for thousands of years. Does that make sense now? The 3-phase protocol of female discard. Now I'm going to reveal something that almost no one has the courage to talk about, the protocol of the 3 phases of female discard. It's a pattern that repeats with frightening precision. And when you know this protocol, you will never be caught by surprise again. Phase 1. Silent devaluation. This is when she starts to compare you to other men. Every one of your flaws is amplified. Every quality is minimized. You become a sum of problems in her head. But she doesn't say anything. She just internally processes this new perception of you. During this phase, you still think everything is fine. She still replies to your messages. Still goes out with you. But inside, the decision has already been made. She is just waiting for the right moment or the necessary courage to execute the discard. Do you see how calculated this is? Phase 2. Testing and distancing. Here she starts to test you to confirm her suspicions. She provokes you to see if you react with insecurity. She creates situations to validate that you are not the man she needs. It's a subtle sabotage of the relationship. At the same time, she begins to create emotional distance. Conversations become superficial. Meetings become spaced out. She starts to build a life separate from you, new friends you don't know, new hobbies that don't include you. You feel that something is wrong, but you can't identify what it is. It's intentional. She's building an exit bridge. When you finally realize it, she already has one foot out the door. Can you visualize this process happening? Phase 3. Clean cut or ghosting. This is the grand finale. After mentally devaluing you and creating emotional distance, she executes the discard. Sometimes it's direct, with a quick conversation saying it's not working out. Sometimes it's cowardly, simply vanishing without explanation. Ghosting is the cruelest form of discard. You are left with no closure. No understanding. No chance to process what happened. It's as if you were erased from her existence. And the worst part is, she moves on with her life as if nothing happened. Does this make you furious? It should. But here's the secret that few men understand. You have an active part in this process. You facilitate the discard through predictable and worthless behaviors. You become disposable when you stop valuing yourself. Pay close attention. When you beg for attention, you devalue yourself. When you accept crumbs of affection, you devalue yourself. When you put her on a pedestal, you devalue yourself. And women do not respect men who do not respect themselves. Discard is the consequence of your self-devaluation. It hurts to hear this. I know it hurts. But it's the truth that will free you from this cycle. You are not a victim. You are an active participant. And that means you have the power to change the game. The emotional armor. Now I'm going to teach you the emotional armor. Set rigid boundaries from the start. If she takes days to reply, you also take a long time. If she cancels plans, you don't react with desperation. You simply get on with your life. Abundance attracts, scarcity repels. Remember this always. Keep your mission a priority. Your career, your goals, your personal evolution should come before any woman. Women respect men with direction. Develop genuine options. I'm not talking about pretending to have other women. I'm talking about genuinely building a rich social life, with real connections, real possibilities. Real abundance is magnetic. Does that make sense to you? Learn to read the signs and act preemptively. When you notice the first signs of discard, be the one who makes the decision. It's better to leave with dignity than to be kicked out. The power is with the person who decides the end. Work on a results versus process mindset. Stop focusing on the result of specifically winning her over. Focus on the process of becoming a better man. The results are a natural consequence of a well-executed process. This changes everything, do you see? I know some will say this is misogynistic. That I'm blaming women. This is about understanding human nature. Women do this because of biological and psychological selection mechanisms. It's survival of the fittest in action. And do you want to be the fittest or the discarded? You can continue to be the guy who doesn't understand the signs, who begs for crumbs of attention, who gets discarded without remorse. Or you can be the man who understands the game, who values himself, who is irreplaceable. I'm going to tell you a final secret. Women do not discard high-value men. They fight to keep them. They make an effort. They invest. Because they know men like that are rare. Ultra rare. And when you become that man, the game flips completely. Do you realize the power of this? Instead of you chasing, they chase you. Instead of you begging for attention, they seek your approval. Instead of being discarded, you choose who you want to be with. But this requires work. It requires you to stop seeing yourself as a victim. It requires you to take responsibility. It requires you to evolve from a needy boy to a complete man. And few are willing to do that work. The question is, are you? Because if you're not, it's better to stop watching now and continue in the cycle of discard and suffering. But if you are ready for the change, if you are ready to never again be discarded without remorse, then you need to act now. You know why now? Because every day you spend in the same pattern is a lost day. Every relationship you enter without this knowledge is a pre-announced failure. Every woman who discards you is proof that you need to change. And change starts with awareness. You now have awareness of the signs. You have awareness of the protocol. You have awareness of your role. Ignorance is no longer an excuse. If you continue to be discarded after this, it's your choice. Does this bother you? Use that discomfort as fuel. Use that anger as motivation. Use that pain as a teacher. Turn every past discard into a lesson, so you never repeat the same mistakes. Remember the high-speed filter. Women will continue to filter and discard men. It's their nature. The question is whether you will be the one who is discarded or the one who is approved. Whether you will be the deleted file or the main program. Wake up to reality, brother. The world is not going to change to accommodate you. Women are not going to stop discarding men of no value. The competition is not going to decrease. On the contrary, it's getting even fiercer. You need to evolve, or you will be left behind. And evolution begins with action. No more, tomorrow. No more, next week. Now. At this very moment. Make the decision to never again accept crumbs. To never again beg for attention. To never again be the disposable one. Be the irreplaceable one. But before you leave here and forget all this, do one thing. Like this video and share it with a friend who needs to wake up. Subscribe to the channel now, and if you can, make a donation to help us continue this work, because the document I'm sharing here is the map to get out of the discard labyrinth. Do it now, before you forget. And always remember, you are not a file to be deleted. You are the main operating system. When you understand that, when you incorporate that, when you live that, the discard without remorse becomes impossible. The high-speed filter will always approve you, because you have become irreplaceable. You have become necessary. You have become the type of man that women fight to keep, not to discard. And that, my friend, changes absolutely everything.